At the same time the US has entered recession, we also have the lowest personal savings rate of all time, and we have the highest credit card interest in the last many years. This is the perfect storm that a lot of people have found themselves in, and it's super unfortunate. I just want to talk through it in this video. First, if you're new here, I'm Austin. I'm a co-owner of cloudmusicsuite.com, and I'm a stock market investor. On this channel, we talk all things money and personal development and personal finance, all that good stuff. So if that sounds like your alley, go ahead and subscribe. As a thank you for doing that, my beautiful kitty cat is right over there taking a nap. All right, so I just want to show you a picture of her just to make your day a little better. Thanks for subscribing. Let's get into this. So check out this graph that I've got. This graph shows some alarming stuff. One of the alarming things it shows is, first of all, on the right side, we kind of see the percentage of disposable income, right? So that's what it's showing us. And then we've got the red line is the credit card debt that's owed by people in the US. And then the blue line is the savings rate. Here's the most alarming thing, okay? I think a lot of people think of disposable income that's on the right side of that graph as money that's left over after paying for your living expenses. That's not what disposable income is in this definition. So the definition of disposable income they're using is all of your after-tax income. So all of the after-tax income that you have is the disposable income. So of all of that, only 3.1% is being saved by the average US citizen. That is crazy. That is so low. For every $1,000 they make, they're only able to save $31. That's alarming, okay? And what's way worse than that is at the same time they're only able to save $31 of every 1,000, they're also due $330, as we see 33%. Every $1,000 they make, $333 they have to pay in credit card debt. That is super alarming. If people have outstanding credit card balances right now, the average credit card debt is in the 20s, average credit card interest rate is in the 20s. If the average credit card interest rate is in the 20s, a savings account, if you get a really good one, is paying you 3%, and the stock market in general normally returns close to 10%, you're not gonna get anywhere close to paying off that credit card debt if you keep your actions the same. That's the scary thing about credit cards. I'm an advocate of using a credit card as a tool to help you in financial situations, but never to pay any interest on it by holding credit card debt. But that's what so many people are having to do right now because they're living extremely paycheck to paycheck, can't save anything. So this is pretty scary. And where my mind goes with this is there's gotta be one of three problems happening or a blend of all three. It's either a money management issue where people have no clue how much they're making, no clue how much they're spending over a certain period of time, let's say per month, because it's easy to kind of wrap our heads around that. They don't know how much they're making every month. They don't know how much they're spending every single month. And then as a result, they don't know how much is left over every single month, all right? It's either that, or it's just flat out an expense problem. You're just spending way too much money. Or it could be an income problem. You just don't make enough, all right? Or it's all three or a blend of two of the three of them, all right? Either you're oblivious to what is happening because you don't track your income expenses, you spend way too much, or you don't make enough, all right? So let's just talk about the money management issue first. Quick, easy way to solve this is to make yourself a Google spreadsheet or use SoFi Relay or mint.com or personalcapital.com. There are apps that can just, you link all your accounts to them and they track it for you. They say, hey, here's how much you spent this month. Here's how much you were able to save this month. You're in the negative by $400. You need it, and that's an indicator. I need to get my expenses under control, right? Or I need to get my income up, one of the two, or probably both if you're in a negative situation. So there's softwares that can do it for you, or you can literally just make a Google sheet or an Excel spreadsheet. Put every single thing you make, every single penny you make, and every single penny you spend in that Excel spreadsheet. All right, it's not hard to do. Very transformative, shows you kind of where you're at. It's like a, financial check engine light. If I'm in the negative, my check engine light's on. If I'm in the positive, my check engine light's not on, but I might need to do some maintenance because I'm only in the positive $31 of every $1,000 I make, like the average American right now, okay? So that will be the money management issue. You just gotta track your stuff. You can do it in a lot of different ways. Whatever works for you, go ahead and do that. You might have an expense problem. You're gonna figure this out once you start tracking your stuff. Or just look at yourself honestly and say, am I spending frivolously right now? Am I buying a bunch of new clothes for no reason? Am I buying new video games that I don't need right now? Am I buying a bunch of random stuff for my house, like wall art and little things off Etsy and little crap like that? Am I spending a bunch of money on subscriptions? Could I cut those out right now? Like, we're in recession. Savings rates are at all-time low. It's time to cut back on some stuff. Could you eat out less? Yeah, probably. Could you DoorDash some things less? Yeah, probably. Could you wait another 2 months before you buy new shoes? Yeah, probably. Okay, so it's just like the tough decisions of, I'm gonna save money, I'm in a bad spot, I need to do this for myself. So just gotta spend a little less money, and there's no way to do that other than to spend less money. Don't buy the thing, don't make impulse purchases. Wait on it a day, wait on it a week, and see if you still need that thing. And then lastly is an income problem. I think a lot of people have an income problem. And one of the issues with this is people don't want to switch jobs to get a higher paying job. People don't want to take on side work to get extra money because they view it as like, I don't know, it's too hard or it's too difficult to start. Like, there's so many things you can do to make a little bit of side money, even if that's just Uber or Lyft or Postmates or like Shipt or Instacart. That's what these things are here for. They're for people who want to grind a little bit more, make a little bit of extra money, and you don't have to have an insane amount of skill to be an Uber driver. You just need to be a great driver, be a nice person, have a clean car, right? You don't have to have some crazy marketable skill to make a little bit of side income. If you have a marketable skill, you can make a lot more side income, like you're able to tutor someone or private coach someone or teach someone music lessons or consult with somebody or run a social media platform. We could talk about all that. There's videos all over YouTube about different things you can do. But the value of the added dollar is immense. It's immense because let's say your expenses are pretty fixed. You figured out your expense problem. You're not buying frivolous thing. If your expenses are fixed and you add an extra $100 a month, now you have a surplus of $100. That's substantial. That's more than some people are saving in an entire month based on this graph right here. If you make an extra $500 a month, if you have a Roth IRA, you can max out your Roth IRA with that extra $500 side hustle you're doing, $500 a month side hustle you're doing. It is immense, okay? And it's so hard to explain to people until they start making their own side income. It's so empowering, it's so immense, it's amazing. It's probably the most powerful thing that I could ever think of is having a side hustle in terms of like figuring out your money mindset. The value of the added dollar is immense. That's all I'll say on that. Okay, I'll make a whole different video on that at some point. But I got like 5 little situations or tips if you're still in the video at this point right here. 5 tips, okay? Number 1, you have to pay down your credit card debt if you have credit card debt. Right now, like that needs to be priority over anything else. Got to pay down that credit card debt. As the number 1 stopper of building wealth and number 1 wealth destroyer is like personal loans and credit card interest, credit card debt, right? It'll completely destroy you because it's so hard to get that type of consistent return in the 20% in anything you invest in. And in order to get financially free in any sense, you're going to have to invest in something, and that thing is probably not going to give you a 20% return on a regular basis. But you're paying 20% on these personal loan interest rates. You're paying 20% on these credit card interest rates. It's wild. Number 1 priority, pay those down right now, okay? Number 2, right after that is to establish an emergency fund. You may say, I need $10,000 to feel comfortable and confident whenever times get tough. Then you need to make that the second priority. Once I've finished paying off my credit card debt, I establish my emergency fund, I go all the way up to 10K. Maybe it's 20K for you. Maybe it's way less. Maybe you only need 2,000 to feel comfortable because your living expenses are lower. The higher your living expenses are, in my opinion, the higher you need your emergency fund amount to be. That is money that you will not touch unless there is an absolute emergency and maybe you had a miscalculation and there's an expense coming due, you got to pull from that emergency fund. Maybe something horrible happened and you have to go to the hospital. That's where you use your emergency fund. Maybe you got in a car crash, got to use the emergency fund, etc., etc. After that, you got to put a certain percentage of your income into savings no matter what. And I would say start really small, especially if you're in a position where you're only able to save like 3%, like the average American right now. Figure out what you're doing right now. If you're in the negative, go ahead and get to the green by figuring out your expense issue and taking on a little bit of side work. Once you get to the green, decide on a percentage. If you are not a saver, start with 5%. Do that for 3 months, see if you can bump it up to 10%. That's huge. A 10%, that's a double up from your 5% savings rate. It'll be substantial. You can use this to fund your emergency fund a little bit more. You can use this to invest, right? You can use this to put a down payment on a house eventually, right? It's important to learn how to save money, right? If I can't save money, I definitely can't invest money. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm gonna invest money, that's how I'm gonna grow my wealth. All right, so put a certain percentage of your income into saving no matter what. And if you're about to not hit that for a particular month, guess what? Gotta do a little bit more side hustling so that you can figure out that no matter what, I'm gonna hit that 10% number. Okay, go get a raise, go pick up some side work. That would be my number 3 that I would talk about here. Change jobs, ask for a raise, pick up side work. One of the 3 or multiples of those 3. Here's another one. This is controversial. Change your living situation. If you're renting an apartment by yourself, don't. Try to get someone else in that apartment. Is it a 2-bedroom? If so, rent out another bedroom. Is it a 1-bedroom and you could turn the living room into somewhere where someone could sleep? If that cuts your living expenses by half, whoa, you've just unlocked a whole lot of money that you can save on a regular basis now. It's really worth it to try to subsidize your housing cost by living with other people, especially if you're in tough times. Number 5, last one, stop buying frivolous shit. Stop spending so much money on subscription services. Stop buying so much clothing. Stop buying so much makeup. Stop buying so many things for your animals. I got a kitty cat, right? I love her. Stop buying so much things for your cat. Stop buying things for your car. Stop getting car washes for a little bit. Like, you really don't need this stuff. If you're in a position where you're not able to save money, you have to cut back. It's gotta be things that you decide, I don't need this anymore. At least for the next 6 months, I don't need this anymore. That has to happen. Tough conversation to have with yourself, but it's very important. Anyway, hope you're able to take some value out of this. Go do some of these things. Go save some money. Make it happen, okay? See y'all next time.